All right, so I'm going to show you how to set up for bass guitar, and there's a couple different ways you can set up for bass guitar. You can do it in the control room, or you can do it in the live room. I'm going to show you the control room first. So let's go ahead and start a Pro Tools session. Make sure that you're on the Studio A I/O. All right, and we are going to save this to the Studio A work drive, and we're going to call this Bass Demo. All right, so let's session file import from our template. So desktop, session templates, sessions, Studio A template, Studio A template. And let's get our master buses and our click. And let's get our routing buses. And since we're doing bass, let's go ahead and grab our bass tracks. Make sure that you're importing everything that you are. Let that load up. Okay, let's go ahead and make our routing buses active. Okay, great. So that's enough on Pro Tools now. All right, so once you have your session set up, we're getting two different signals from the bass guitar. We are getting the direct signal, or in this case, we're gonna be getting like the amp. We also get the bass cab. And first off, before we turn the amp on, let's go make sure that the bass cab in the back is patched correctly. Okay, so your bass cab is back here in this corner, and you can see this panel right here has the speaker cable. This is speaker from the bass station, which is the live room, and speaker from the control room. We want to make sure that we're coming from the control room. All right, so we're good there. All right, now you're going to come over to the rider's side of the island, and to the left of the Kemper here are a couple switches. I'm going to go ahead and flip both of those on, and that's what all this stuff is connected to, are those switches. And once those are on, we can turn this bass amp on, and the power is in the back left here. Flip it on. All right, and we are already patched in going to the cab. That's all normaled. And the output of this is going into, it's going into this rider's patch bay, and it comes out on that patch bay as riders out 5. So I'll show you that patch. So when you check your input list, you see that the bass DI is going into channel 15 of the console, and it's normaled into to coming from panel 3, which is in the live room, and we need it to come from riders out 5. So there you are, panel 3.1, which is going into channel 15 of the console. Let's just go ahead and unpatch there and come to rider out 5. So now we are patched in. Okay, now that everything is patched in, let's just chord enable these tracks. It's gonna switch over to DSP mode. And I'm gonna go hit that bass real fast. Stay here. I'm just gonna hit the bass. And we are getting signal. And there's your bass guitar from the control room. All right, and if you want to do bass from the live room, this is the bass station. First off, go to the back and repatch in that panel, where instead of going from the control room, come from the bass station, and make sure that your amp is off before doing that patch. But we're going to set up the bass station first. I grabbed the amp from the control room because we're just going to set that next to us here. we're going to pull out this stand, and this stand has your cue mixer as well as your talkback. And I'm just going to set that up real fast. Okay, so you're plugging in the microphone into the push to talk box, and then the push to talk box is going into the talkback input into this panel, and then you're grabbing this Ethernet cable and you're running that from the cue output here, and I'll run this behind me. Into your mixer, into the input. All right, and once you have all of this set up, we're gonna get this amp plugged in. So over here you have a bunch of extra cables that you can always come to if you ever need them, but specifically we're gonna grab this IEC cable, plug the amp in. And we're going to grab this speaker cable that has two speak-on connections on either side. And remember to make sure that this amp is not on when you plug this in. But we're going to go ahead and plug in speaker to bass cab room. And then we're going to plug in, there's two speaker outputs on the back of this. Either one works. So just plug in to the back. And then you're going to take this XLR that's coming out of this first input and plug that into, I usually do post DI, but there's a post and a pre. I generally do post. All right. And we're going to grab an instrument cable. Plug into one of these bases. Let's just do this front guy right here. All right. We're going to turn this amp on. Amp is on. It's unmuted. And I'll hit the bass. And I can hear it in the bass cab in the back room. So we are passing signal. And now we need to repatch in the control room to get the DI. And then we'll be good to go. So when you look at your input list, you see that bass DI is going into channel 15 of the console, and it should be coming from panel 3-1, the first input of panel 3. And right now the bass was set up to come from the control room, so that is not patched in there. So we will come over here, we'll take it out of this rider out 5, come to panel 3-1, and now you are patched up and good to go. And that's how to do bass from the control room.